Travel Bits. This is a show where I offer up my experience, my knowledge, and my opinions on travel-related subjects in hopes that it will help you with your travel. I am your host, Bonnie Quartermanch. I have a small home-based travel agency right here in Seekonk. Today, first picture please? Today, I'd like to tell you about a cruise that I just took. I have taken one other cruise in the past. It was about 30 years ago, and it was just a few nights out of Miami. This time I had the opportunity to go on a cruise May 5th. We left out of New York on the Norwegian Gem. There were 6 of us adults traveling together as my sister and her husband, and another couple, Secret and Sean, that we had the pleasure of vacationing with a few years ago in the Dominican. So it was a vacation reunion for us, and we had a good time. So the cruise that we took was leaving out of Port of New York, or Manhattan. So we decided that we would drive into New York on the day of departure. Normally, if you are, say, flying to a port, I would always recommend getting there the day before. With flights nowadays, you just never know what delays or mishaps can come up, and you certainly don't want to miss your cruise due to flight delays. So we left at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and after a stop at Dunkin' Donuts and a restroom stop, we made it to the port in about 3 hours. In this picture here, that center strip, that is your cruise port parking right in New York City. So you can see it's very convenient. You just walk onto your ship from there, or you walk into the terminal before you walk onto your ship right from there. So you have to weigh out the odds, which is going to be a better option for you. So after we parked and grabbed our suitcases out of the car, we took the elevator down to street level, and there is when you go out towards the street and you put your suitcase on the assigned dolly. There are greeters there that get you right off the elevator to direct you where you need to go. So once we, next picture please. So after you drop off your suitcases, you don't see those, you don't have to deal with them until they show up in your cabin later on. So from here you have to wait to go through security. That's the 6 of us, happy travelers, all excited. This is inside the terminal, inside the cruise terminal. From here, before you go through security, you are asked to fill out a wellness form. Basically, they want to know if you're sick, coughing and whatnot. They don't want sick people carrying the flu and stuff with them on the ship. There are no fees for luggage when you're on a cruise, which is nice. So you tend to pack more than normal. So it's good to be rid of those suitcases and not have to deal with them. Next picture, please. Here is security. Well, yeah, you go through security first with, of course, you get your body, you're scanned and whatever you're carrying on scanned, and then you're in the maze waiting to go to the check-in desk. Next picture, please. Here is a picture of the check-in desk. You go up to, when it's your turn, you called up. This is where you're going to show them your passport, your identification. They're going to swipe that into the system. They're going to make sure they have all your information correct. This is where you will give them your credit card. That gets loaded onto your C card. Next picture, please. This is your C card. You carry this with you everywhere. This is your room key. It also has your credit card information on it. They also take your picture, so when your card is swiped when you're getting on and off the ship, your picture comes up. This is how they guarantee that, that you're there or not there. It tells you where to go for your photo gallery to pick up any pictures. At the assembly station, that E1, that is where you're going to go for lifeboat, the training. And then Norwegian has their little codes for whatever extras you've purchased for the cruise. Don't lose this card. This is everything. I ended up wearing this card on a lanyard around my neck, just so I had it and I didn't have to look for pockets or whatever. Next picture, please. So, after that, after you go, you check in and you get your C card and stuff, you're sent over to a holding area. You are given a number, and this is your boarding group number. So basically, it's just a waiting game until your boarding number is called. There are restrooms and snacks and drinks available for purchase. When your boarding number is called, you go up as a group, and this is when you actually get on the ship. The first thing that we did when we got on board ship was we headed right to the buffet. We were there fairly early, so we got on the ship fairly early. We had an early boarding group. So we got to the buffet before the big crowds came, which was a huge advantage. So we had a nice lunch at the buffet, and then the thing to do after that is get a cocktail, and we walked around the ship to try to find the best vantage point for viewing for when you're leaving the port. So our vantage point here is on deck 13 in the very front of the ship. We found that the Gem was pointed facing like the New York skyline. So it basically had to back out and then turn to go down to the Hudson. So we had a great view of the New York skyline and the Intrepid, which was right next door to us, and of course the going under the Verrazano Bridge. Next picture, please. Here's the picture of the Statue of Liberty as we were going by it. It's a Statue of Liberty, but it's really cool to see as you're going by, and you're pretty close to it too. Next picture. And this is us going under the Verrazano Bridge. It looks, as you're going under it, the bridge looks pretty low, but we made it through. We made it underneath it with no issues. And pretty much once you go through the under the Verrazano Bridge, you're pretty much heading right out to sea, and there really isn't much left to do. So shortly after your ship departs is when it's the mandatory lifeboat training, lifeboat drill. You go to your assigned area, which you know ahead of time. And so basically you just get there. It's a 10, maybe 15-minute thing. They tell you the safety on the ship, and of course the life preservers and things like that. So it's informative, and it's mandatory, and it's for your safety. So do it. It's important. Okay. So right after that, next picture, please. Right after that, it was probably the ship departed at 3 o'clock. So it's about 3:30, between 3:30 and 4. We decided to head to our stateroom. We were lucky enough. We had upgraded. We had originally booked an inside cabin, and Norwegian gave us the option of bidding for an ocean view room or a balcony stateroom. And you have a minimum price that you have to pay, but then it's, you bid what you would feel comfortable paying and what you think an upgrade would be worth to you. We actually won our upgrade to an ocean view room, and it was only $25 per person. There was 2 of us in the room. So it was a $50 upgrade for that window, but let me tell you, I was very, very happy that we had that window. It just brought so much light into the room. There was a little bit more square footage that we had compared to an inside stateroom, but to us, that ocean view room made all the difference in the world. The best I can describe the cabin is it's a cross between a hotel room and a camping trailer. I've been in both many times. So everything is neat and compact, and they make sure that every space is utilized, and it's very smartly laid out. There was a safe in the room. There was closets with hangers. There was shelving for your clothing, and also drawers. There was a hair dryer. You had a shower. You had with shampoo and body wash. Your beach towels are there for you, and also the ship's newsletter. You also had a TV. The TV we turned on a couple times, but not to really watch TV. It was mainly you can grab all your account information on the TV, and also all the latest news of the ship and what's going on and whatnot, besides what's in your newsletter. Next picture. There are a few things that I brought from home in doing research on this cruise and with talking with people. There are a few things. Outlets are a shortage in the cabins. So I have this little surge protector, multi-outlet thing that, so you can charge multiple things. Next. Also, all the walls within the cabin, everything is you can use magnets. I don't know, is that steel or whatever? It's metal. So these metal hangers, I actually borrowed these from my daughter Katie. They come in very handy because there's, I hung up my lanyard where I was carrying my card, my nightgown and things. Sometimes it's just so much easier just to hang things up like that, quick little hang up. So I found those very, very, very handy. And then the last thing that I brought from home was a fan, a small fan. We put it at the foot of the bed, and there is a thermostat in your room that you have complete control of, but sometimes just that movement of air, that little bit of white noise, it does make a difference for us anyway. So for comfort factor, I brought the fan. Also in your room, people bring your big suitcases. Well, these fit right underneath your bed, so there's no worry about where am I going to store this suitcase once I unpack it. Next, please. Norwegian offers, their program is called Free at Sea. And what that is depending on what category of stateroom that you purchase for the cruise, you have a choice of 1, 2, 3, or all options. And those options are the unlimited open bar, free shore excursions, free specialty dining, free Wi-Fi, and or free friends and family sail free. Being in the group that I was in, we did the ultimate beverage package. So with the beverage package, although it said it was free, we still had to pay taxes on the beverage package. So it was about $100 per person. So it was, say, $200 for the beverage package, which is pretty low for cruise lines, and it was the best option for us. We also had onboard credit of $25 per guest, or $50. Onboard credit is money prepaid right into your cruise account that you can use during your cruise. I'll tell you how I'll use mine a little bit later. The cruise newsletter that's in your room tells you everything that you need to know about the cruise. It tells you about your the captain who's sailing the vessel. It tells you every single restaurant, what time they're open, what time they close. It tells you every single activity that's going on board. It tells you what's going on in the shows. There is just any kind of information that you need is in that that newsletter. You would normally get that newsletter in the afternoon, probably the day before. While I'm thinking of it, outside of your door, there was this rotating signage, and I noticed that when we did the turn down service, that is when we got our towel animals, and that's when he came in and put the newsletter in for the next day. So keep that in mind. Next picture, please. So there are restaurants, there are buffets all over the ship. There is 24-hour food that you can find. This restaurant was called Oceans. We had a few lunches there, some 2-hour lunches. We found the food very good. There is the thing with Norwegian is they are freestyle casual cruise line, so you do not have to dress up for any of the restaurants. Of course, you can't go in with bathing suits and things. You have to be dressed and dry, but yeah, you don't have to dress up. There's no formal nights on Norwegian, which is pretty comfortable. We had a couple meals at the buffet. Mainly breakfast was at the buffet, but there is food out by the pool, and when you're in a restaurant and you're looking over the menu and you say, "Oh, that sounds good," or "Oh, this looks really good too," I can't decide. Your food server will say, "Well, just order both." So we actually, and this is why so many people get so heavy going on a cruise, is because you can order multiple entrees, multiple desserts. It's actually quite fun. It's probably about the only time that you can do it too. So keep that in mind. It's just like if you want to experiment, if you can't decide, then get a few, put them in the middle of the table, and everybody takes a bite. It was quite fun. Next picture, please. So this was our itinerary. We left out of New York, and our first stop was Port Canaveral. And we docked in Port Canaveral in the morning, or actually it was right around noon or late morning, 11 o'clock or so. We were able to get off the ship. They announce when you can. And it's basically you can walk off the ship. There's no water. You're right up to the dock, so you just walk off the ship. Next picture. We right outside the ship. Once you got out of the ship, there is transportation galore. There was plenty of taxis and shuttle services and stuff. We grabbed a shuttle. It was $12 per person round trip to Cocoa Beach, Florida, and we spent the afternoon there, which was fun. And then we made it back in time for dinner. Next picture. Okay, the next stop was most cruise lines have their own private island, and in this case, Norwegian's is called Great Stirrup Cay. And so the day that we went there, right after you have your breakfast, you go to guest services to get your transfer number, because you have to take this small boat from the ship to the island. So once you get your boat number, then you just wait to be called. You get on the boat, and then they takes you over to the island. The next picture. This is a picture of the beach. It's beautiful. We did find, we were more over towards the right-hand side, and it was very, very rocky there. We did not pack our water shoes. I wish we had. Because over on that side it was very rocky. The water is beautiful. As you can see, it's very sunny. There's no trees. We used part of our onboard credit to rent the shade. They have these clamshell like umbrella things that go right over your lounge chairs there for shade. So we made use of that. There is a buffet there on the island, so you can have your lunch there, and there's shopping. There are different parts of the island that you can do different things. I saw some water slides, and there's just so much to do. We just hung out by the beach. And when you're ready to go back, you just walk down to where the transfer boats dock, and you just hop on one, and once it's full, it takes you right over back to the ship, and you just get back on the ship. And our last port of call, next picture, was, this is another picture of the Great Stirrup Cay. The beach was beautiful, and the water was just so warm. So our next stop and last stop was Nassau in the Bahamas. This is another stop where you just you walk off and walk on the ship at your convenience. Next picture. Once we got off the ship, we walked down towards the street. There were cab drivers there, and for $5 per person, they took us to Cabbage Beach. We got in and we told the taxi driver that we wanted to go to a beach. So he said, okay, Cabbage Beach. So this is the entrance. You kind of go up this hill, and then when you go down the other side, that's when you see the beach. Next picture. This is Cabbage Beach. It's absolutely beautiful. While we were there, we rented 2 chaise lounges and an umbrella for the afternoon. It was $20. And then when we were finished at the beach, we walked back down to where the taxi let us off, and we got a cab ride back. Like I said, all the cab drivers were there waiting for us. It was only $4 per person for the trip back to the ship. And basically, you just walked right back on. Next picture. The next 2 days we were at sea. And one of the reasons that I have not been on a cruise in a while is fear of seasickness. And in doing research and stuff, the patch that goes behind your ear is a prescription that you have to get from your doctor. Is supposed to help with that, and yes, it did. Next picture. There's also this thing called the C-band, and what that is, it's just a stretchy, like terry cloth with a little white button that goes against your wrist, and that's kind of like a pressure point thing that's supposed to ward off seasickness. That you can get at Target, CVS, Walmart. And then ginger, whether it's ginger ale or just natural ginger, is also a seasickness remedy. I wore the patch all the time, and I found that the only side effect of the patch was my throat. My throat was just so dry. So I was able to fix that with water, and frozen mudslides were really good because they coat the throat, and it took away that feeling. So when you're on vacation, when you're on your cruise, you can be as active or as lazy as you want. There's so much going on, and you choose what you want to do. We went to just 2 of the shows. There's shows every night. We just went to the theater twice. Next picture. We went to the bars and the lounges. Next picture. And this is a picture of the theater. Like I said, we went to the shows a couple nights. There was one night they had a white party that there was a DJ with music, and so there was dancing, and that was a lot of fun. There was a couple nights it was just the 6 of us, and we either went to the game room or we were out by the pool. After dinner, we playing Farkle, just the 6 of us, a couple drinks, and just chilling, relaxing, having a lot of fun. One afternoon, we played shuffleboard for hours. We stayed in the hot tub. I tried to ward off some pounds by going to the gym. So there is countless, endless things that you can do. So the day before you're due to get off the ship, disembarkment, you have to leave your suitcases outside your door with everything in it minus what you're going to need for the morning. You can choose to do this, or you can do self-disembarkment, where you'll take care of your own suitcases and you'll lug them off the ship by yourself. We chose to let them take care of our big suitcases. So the next morning you have to go to guest services and grab a ticket to find out what group you're going to disembark with, or what time. And so you just wait for them to call. When you leave the ship, you go to the area. We were gray, so you find the gray area, and our suitcases are right there. We grabbed those. Just as we grabbed those out of the lines, there was a gentleman there with a dolly, and for $1 per suitcase, he'll take them for you. So he loaded all our suitcases up onto the dolly. He came with us, walked us to the elevator, went up to the elevator, brought us out to the car, and unloaded our suitcases right there. So all we had to do was put them in the car and drive home. So to me, that was worth the money, and it was to me, it was the way to go. So there are. That's pretty much it. There are things specific to Norwegian Cruise Line. Like I said, the free at sea, where they have the promotion with the free beverages or the specialty dining. They're the ones that they don't have the set dining times. It's all casual. There's no formal nights. You don't need reservations at the restaurants. Whatnot. So I enjoyed my cruise, and I would definitely go on another. I would definitely cruise with Norwegian. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been on a wonderful vacation that you want to talk about? Have you been on a different cruise line and want to talk about it? Please feel free to give me a call. You can come on the show with me, and we can compare stories. We can talk about our favorite vacations. You can ask me questions. So you can get in touch with me through the TV station here. My Facebook page is Bonnie's Travel, or my website is www.bonniestravelsite.com. So until next time, happy travels. Thank you.